So here was like a really cool moment I had. This was 2 days ago, and I wrote it down because I'm like, I have to make a video about this because it was like a really profound moment I had. Right, it really showed me the like gift of life, and how to really appreciate the moment. And so there's no like exact topic for this video. I want to share the story because it really showcases like the more self-awareness you have and the more you actually like really serious about your life and improving your life, you'll have these little moments where you're just like awestruck by sheer gratitude and like awareness of the moment. All right, so without further ado, here's the story. I was I was in the kitchen. So we have a 2-year-old, and then we have like a brand new baby, right? So almost 2-year-old, and he's like big. He's like freaking the size of like he was the size of this 5-year-old kid at the park. And so he likes to be held, right? He enjoys when I pick him up. It's fun, you know. So I'm in the kitchen and I'm making something, and it involved me having to use both hands. And he like really wanted to be held, right? So I was like, okay, screw it. I'm gonna hold him, and I'm just gonna take 3 times as long and try and do this with one. I was like using a spatula to make some meal, and it was like very specific, right? So I'm holding him, and I'm now like jostling around the stuff on the kitchen counter. And in the moment, right, I had a little thought of like, oh, I just want to set him down, get this thing done, right? But then the immediate next thought was like, how much longer am I going to be able to hold this kid? Right? Like, enjoy it. Like, he's literally going to be a giant freaking kid in like 2 years. Like, sure, I'll be able to, but it'll be a very different dynamic, right? By the time he's freaking 9, 8, 7, whatever. I don't know I don't know normal kid growth patterns, right? That'd be a question for my wife. But like, he's not gonna be little forever. And so, you get these little moments throughout the day where you have that little self-honesty check of like, hey, like, what's actually important here, right? It was like right away, I saw it and I was like, hey, this is awesome. I wouldn't trade this for anything. But if you're not careful, the world, the system will pull you in and be like, no, you got to hurry to your next meeting and it's this time and whatever. And it's like, it was really, really fascinating. So I just see how like in every single moment, like they call it the present, right? Because it's a present. It's so cliche, but it's literally so true because you never know exactly what's going to happen. But when you're here as who you are and you're clear on why you're here and you're here for purpose and you're not here just to make money or you're not here just to whatever, go and frolic around and pursue happiness, is like when you're actually here and you see the people around you as equals. Like I see my son and it's like I'm so grateful for the process specifically of like the self-perfection process, right? Like I talk about the tools all the time, like Techno-Tutor, self-forgiveness. Those tools have changed my life and the community especially because it's like I get to be around other people who are also actively going through every last part of their mind that gets them distracted and then letting it go and then really just being here in the moment. And then you can have these little cool moments that are just like so like, you could see it as like special or whatever. But then I don't dwell in it, right? I'm not like holding on to it or like, oh, I gotta make some long video explaining how cool this is and make a Facebook post on it. I'm not thinking that. I'm just like, man, that was like really impactful little moment for me because it's like, I get to enjoy this time here. And I don't have to just go chasing the rat race. And I'm also grateful because I've used these tools to create a decent amount of success for myself. So it's not like I have to now go rush to some job over here and this and that and just be worried. It's like, I've created that space for myself. But here's the other point I want to add on to it is, who am I then if I just go, okay, cool, well, my son's good, my wife's good, our other son's good, great. It's like, who am I? Because right now there are, thousands of families, I'm sure, that are very close to me here. But that's not the situation, right? The dad does have to run out the door to his second shift at some other job. Or, that kid is struggling or the kid's got, whatever, the TV's on, in that house and they can't be present. And so it's like, that's why I've dedicated my life to this, of really changing the culture, really changing what's possible, like putting myself out there, talking about these tools, talking about this process, talking about the principles I stand for. Because I'm determined to live the best life and create the best world for everyone. I don't expect to meet, even a fraction of this world's population. But through the impact I have, and if I can influence, 200 people over the span of my life, like really influence them, and they can all influence, 10 people, 20 people, whatever. It's like that has an actual ripple. But I'm not basing it off of, oh, do I feel good? I'm basing it off of how many people actually see the principles that we talk about, how many people are now living that every single day with their kids, how many people come on the hangouts that we do in Self Perfected, like how many people are actually doing this, taking it on for real, because again, those little moments are so cool, and they're like these precious little moments that you can really enjoy of like, wow, I'm enjoying the fact that I have a really cool kid that I can hold and just be with and enjoy that, because it's not going to be forever. Yet, creating a world and an environment where that is possible for other people. And like, I'm dedicated for that to be my life, because, what if, here's a deep thought, right? I'll close it out on a deep thought. What if when you die, you come back and you just get, born, like what if you as like a being, some people call it a soul, whatever, right? What if you as a being, you come back, but you don't get to choose who you come back as? And you're born in this world. And it's like right now, I'm extremely grateful, right? I'm here in my cool office. I'm looking out at our pasture, and we got chickens and a homestead, and life is good. All right, I got my son. He's in the house getting ready to go to bed, and my wife's gonna tuck him in and read him a bedtime story, whatever. And I'm gonna hang out with her tonight. Like, life is good. But I think of for how many people it's not good. And I think of, who am I? Am I the kind of person who's just gonna go, great, life is good for me, I don't really need to change anything? Or, oh yeah, I just want to make a bunch of money, then I'll change things. It's like, what I'm seeing right now, the state of the world and where everything is headed, it's getting a lot more difficult for people. And it's an opportunity where everyone's getting that wake-up call. Some people are seeing it right now. Some people have been seeing it for a long time. Some people have thought they've woken up, but they actually, are in delusion. It's like there's a lot to it. But I just look at that, and I make these videos because I know a lot of you see this, and you've committed yourself to this too. Is like, I am so freaking dedicated to finding the others who can see this, who can resonate with this, and who are actually willing and teachable and open-minded to say, maybe I don't have it all figured out. Maybe I do need to really seriously forgive myself for like years and years and years of bullshit I've accepted. And like, oh, maybe it takes way more than a little 21-day challenge to change my life. Like maybe it's like a 7-year journey to rechange every single memory you have, and every single thought you have, and every single emotional bias you have attached to every word Like, that's real change. And I'm here to show that that is cool, that is fun, that is worth striving for, that's worth basing your life around. So instead of just a pursuit of happiness, let's call it a pursuit of perfection. But not even pursuit, because pursuit implies you're chasing it and it's not who you are. It's a real, genuine perfection, but perfection means process. Perfection is the process of becoming the best. It's not saying you're perfect, but it's saying you realize you need to change, you realize the world needs to change, and you're actually willing to walk the space and the time to make that happen. And it is literally a multi-year journey. And as you can do that, and as I can do that, and as my wife does that, and my kids do that, and your kids do that, and we raise our kids in this environment, by the time we're grandparents, man, we can literally have a different world. By the time you're gone, or you're at the end of your life, or whatever, you're one of those longevity freaks and you want to live till you're 150 and do the Silicon Valley, the freaking stem cell therapy, biohacking, whatever they call it. You can do that. But what world are we going to create? Are you wanting to just create your life so you're good, and your friends are good, and your community is good, but you live in a gated community and there's literally billions of people suffering? Or are you like, hey, I don't exactly know how, but I want to genuinely create the best freaking world? That's what I'm dedicated to. That's what my wife's dedicated to. We literally based our marriage off of that agreement to create a world that's best for everyone, not just ourselves. And that has guided us through, and it's created the best. It creates the real lasting happiness. It doesn't mean every single day is freaking peaches and rainbows, but it means every single day it can be. And you'll have those really cool moments like I had with my son. And I have a moment like that pretty much every day, right? But it's like cherishing that, but not holding on to it. And more just using it as a reference point where I'm like, wow, I'm very grateful for how far I've come. And I'm also going to go all the way with this. So by the time I take my last breath, I know I put it all out there, right? So if, for example, you come back, right? Or even if in those final moments you're looking at your life, you have no regrets, right? no regrets, and you can say, wow, I actually went all out. And I would be happy if I actually came back here, right? And that's my life and that's my legacy, right? So if you resonate with this, we should definitely connect. Shoot me a message on Facebook. Just click the link below, whatever. I always put my Facebook link in here. Let's talk. Let's have a chat. I want to hear your story.